bottom. Ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.
All right, let's get to our next early
That's kind of
morning
where it all
game.
began.
What?
Like the show. That's kind of like where it took off, where it all began. College basketball.
Like when it just kind of just
When it
started
kinda-
really trending with the follow. Yeah, we always was on that football blast for
Mhm.
shit show. But let's go out to our early game on Sunday, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time game at the TIAAA Bank Field. We got a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast, well, the Southeast. The Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Raiders are 2-5 on the year, very underwhelming team. 3-4 against the spread, while the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-6 on the year, 2-6 against the spread as well. This line opened up in favor of the Raiders -2. Right now, that line's at -1.5, and the total opened up at 47. Right now, you can catch that line at 48, but there are some 47.5s out there as well. Get to actual factors real quick. The overs hit 4 out of the last 5 games for the Raiders. They are 2-6 against the spread in the last 8 games against the Jaguars, 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games on the road. The total has also gone over 5 out of the last 7 games against the AFC conference opponent. They are 1-5 straight up in the last 6 games when they played in the month of November as well. Jacksonville Jaguars are over they are 0-5 against the spread in the last 5 games. The total has gone under 13 out of the last 20. They are 0-5 straight up in the last 5 games. Their overs also hit 4 out of the last 6 games against the Vegas Raiders. The unders also hit 5 out of the last 5 games whenever they play at the crib. They're 5-15 straight up in the last 20 games against the AFC conference opponent. 4-16 straight up in the last 20 games against the AFC West Division opponent. And 5-1 against spread last 6 games played in week 9. 1-5 against the spread last 6 games played on a Sunday. Injury reports right now, Darren Waller, he's actually questionable for this game, so he could be making a return after being out for a couple of weeks. Divine Diablo is questionable. I know I said Diablo. Maybe I said it right. He's questionable as well at the safety position, and DJ Turner, wide receiver, is questionable for the Raiders. Jaguars, Jamal Agnew, he's been fighting with injuries for the last couple of weeks. He's questionable for this game. They just picked up Calvin Ridley, but he's done for suspended for the year because for doing what we doing. Last time we seen the Raiders, they got blanketed this past weekend against the Saints 24-0. And when we saw the Jaguars, they were playing over in Europe. They won that game. They lost that game, 21-17 in a very close game. So with all that being said, Raiders, Jaguars, Marley, I know you broke this game down. What's your play?
I want the Jags here. Like you pretty much said it, man. The Raiders are just for what their talent suggests and the expectations we had on them this season. Like they are just terrible. What they say, Chief?
Hey, we appreciate you joining the show. I hate the NFL, and we appreciate that info. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, follow, my brother.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
That's fucked up. So I'm assuming you a Giant fan.
Well, he said he hate the NFL. He probably just stating it.
The Alabama of the NFL. All right, but yeah, man, the Raiders, dog, they just like fucking officially unachieved. I mean, Derek Carr. Do we blame the coach? Because when the coach that replaced Buddy that got fired in mid-season, the Raiders took off. They were looking good toward the end of last season, and then McDaniels come in, and everybody thought he was going to improve David Carr, and then they go get
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Who's on my fantasy, who only gave me 1 point. He was in the negatives, bro. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, like,
I'm bidding on my fantasy during this show.
It's good. It's cool. So I don't. The only thing that's really drawing me hesitation with the Jaguars is the fact that they got embarrassed in the Saints game. It's kind of normally when teams, a lot of the times, I won't say normally, when teams get embarrassed, they tend to come back and play well the next week. But I just can't see it with this team, man. Like Derek Carr's looking terrible. There's no signs of Devontae Adams. They're barely getting 100 yards rushing, 240 yards pass. I mean, the Texans are throwing for like 220 a game, so like they right there with us. But I'm gonna take the Jags at home, and simply because, well, not simply because, but one of the reasons because the Raiders are 0-5 on the road, 0-4 on the road this season. So their only 2 wins have came at home, and so they don't travel well. And coach, like you said, we got a West Coast team traveling East Coast. It's probably not gonna be hot. The humidity might be gone, but it just that normally doesn't translate well neither when you got West Coast teams traveling. The time zone factor is always the case because you got to remember it's 2 hours behind. So a 12 o'clock game is really like a 10 o'clock in the morning game for West Coast people. So that's early to be playing football. Give me the Jags. Can't believe I'm saying that. Give me the Jags at the crib.
What?
On the money line.
On the money line. Well, that's not a bad pick, Marley. I ain't gonna lie to you. But dude, the Jags have been very competitive.
I think I like that.
This season. They've been losing some close games. I mean, let me pull my notes back up. I mean, the games that let me just go through some of these games that they have played.
I'm looking at the scores right now. 21-17, Denver. 23-17, the Giants.
Okay.
34-27, Indy.
Yep, that was 13-6,
Houston, and 21-29, Philly. I mean, all within a score.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Philly.
So, and this is, nobody had. There's not a lot of talent. Young talent.
Well, they got a lot of young talent for over those picks for the last couple of years, but I mean, they have been competitive. Like I said, they've been competitive. Lawrence has been putting up pretty decent numbers for his sophomore season. Is this his sophomore? Yeah, it is his sophomore season. I'm tripping. Yeah, so I mean, they've been competitive where the Raiders have really looked flat. And then the fact that we got the good old West Coast team traveling to the East Coast for an early morning game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Jaguars can pull this off, man. I definitely do. Devontae Adams is questionable for this game because I'm getting that info on my fantasy. They're trying to tell me don't start him or whatever. So he's questionable for this game as well. But like I said, he's only been popped out like one game, and that was against the Chiefs this season. But if I was to make a lean, I definitely would take the Jaguars as well. So, but I think you got some money coming in your way for that play, Marley. Hey, we appreciate everybody tuning in. I am the coach. That is Marley Bets, and we are Brothas N Bets. We appreciate everybody tuning in for the MFL show. And my boy, I hate the NFL, man. I feel so bad for Adams. Dude really went to the Raiders just to lose. I know.
Check it out. Look, we from the bottom, ain't no problems, we gon' make a way. Got no coach on the field, but we making plays. Hey, look, don't worry, we gon' be okay. Hey, look, why? Cause we gon' make them pay.